Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. I'm your host Khalid Moeedin, and this is the review show where we talk about the match between South Africa and Sri Lanka, the second test at the Wanderers. This was an incredible day of cricket, and it was an amazing fight back from Sri Lanka, which was excellent for all the neutrals out there. I think it's going to be an excellent conversation to have now with our outsiders talking about the particular game, of course. I think it was a great day too, and especially for Sri Lanka because we thought that obviously starting this day, everybody just wanted first and foremost Dean Elgar to get his century, and that obviously took place, and that happened, and that was probably the major talking point of the day before Sri Lanka's bowling performance. Now, Fernando obviously put on an amazing display, taking 5 wickets, which was excellent. Both Fernandos actually bowled beautifully. But it was using the wicket, using the spice on the wicket, obviously bowling the right lengths, making the South African batsmen play. And that was the key to this. And that's why South Africa collapsed like they did, losing quick wickets and obviously put pressure on themselves. They were actually quite lucky to get to 302. I think it was mostly their tail that really just trickled them over that mark. Otherwise, they could have been in a little bit of a more tricky situation. But what I've enjoyed about Sri Lanka, particularly, is the fight back they've shown throughout this Test match. I think they showed excellent fight, they showed excellent temperament, and you can see Mickey Arthur's stamp of approval on this because I think he'll be very proud of his team's performance, especially the captain, Karunaratne. Obviously, him batting beautifully on 91 not out, ending the day on beautifully over there. He had a little bit of an issue with his finger. I'm surprised that South Africans never really targeted him with regards to that, with bowling angles shorter at his body and making sure that he plays away from his body to put that finger into play. But ultimately, Lungi Ngidi, obviously the top bowler for South Africa, and that's where we are sitting right now with a contest on our hands. Sri Lanka, obviously, ending the day with a 5-run lead, finally getting into the lead. So that's the important part. And now they just need to dig in and push forward and obviously perform as best as they possibly can. But before we bring on the guests, guys, don't forget to obviously subscribe to this channel and click that notification bell for all future videos. And guys, we have now a Patron. So if you want to become a patron, go to our Patreon and go and just click on the link in the description. You can help us obviously produce better content than we are and help us support us. Obviously, we're 100% bootstrapped, and we've launched this so that you guys can help us perform the best to our ability as well, just like the Proteas. So without further ado, let me invite you to the show, Aaron, and let's invite you, Ravi. Welcome to the show, guys. Give me your take on the game. What's your thoughts of the context so far, and especially the performances on day 2?
Who should we start with, Khalid? Do you want me to go first? Okay, no problem. So yeah, it was a very, very interesting day too, I thought, for both teams actually. The whole thing with South Africa, they're in such a commanding position, 218 for 1. And then that fight back from the Sri Lankan bowlers was absolutely exceptional. 84 for 9. That was South Africa's collapse. That just shows how much fight and passion and intensity that this Sri Lankan bowling attack has when their backs are against the wall, really. And I was really, really impressed with them today. I thought they're absolutely phenomenal. You mentioned the two Fernandos, Vishwa and Asita. They were brilliant. And I thought they were also quite nicely supported by Dasin Shanaka as well, who came in, took a couple of key wickets as well. So for Sri Lanka's bowlers, big tick. I thought they showed a lot of fight today. And that is something that I think we expected a bit more of yesterday evening. But they showed that today. So nice big tick for the Sri Lankan bowlers. And then, of course, you've already mentioned Khalid, Dimuth Karunaratne. What a fantastic batsman he is to watch in full flow. Really, really good. I'm glad that you mentioned about his injury as well, because I was reading a lot of reaction on social media, and there were people saying if that was Steyn, for example, bowling, or Donald bowling at Karunaratne, they would have targeted that. And I think that South Africa fans today probably would have liked a bit more spice and intensity from their seamers, maybe targeting him per se on that weekend, I suppose. But with regards to his batting, brilliant. Proper captain's knock. Anchored the ship brilliantly. And the fact is that Sri Lanka have got a 5-run lead now that they can build off of. You've said that they need to dig deep. I don't think that's going to happen, purely because both teams have been a bit erratic at times in this test match. But I mean, compared to what we were saying yesterday about South Africa winning this easily within 2-3 days, it's completely changed the complexion of the Test match now. And for that reason, an excellent day of Test cricket. And we've got a fantastic match on our hands now at the Wanderers.
Yeah, kind of the perfect way to test South Africa right now, because I mean, a lot of people were talking about this being a walkover, and they said, "Oh, what if we had to face Australian bowling attack? How would we fare against them?" And I think that's quite kind of unfair on how well Sri Lanka actually did bowl. I mean, yes, they were expensive. Yes, they missed their lines. So did South Africa. But I mean, it's just one of those pitches. Sometimes if you put it in the same spot every single time, I think that's the consistency is key. But to be consistent for 50, 60, 70 balls on end is very difficult. It's not the easiest thing. People make it seem like, oh yes, you can just put it on a 5-cent coin every single time, or either 10-cent coin or whatever the case may be. Ravi, what's your thoughts on the match?
Yeah, definitely. I think that Sri Lanka fought back exceptionally well today. At one point we were saying, this match is going to be over in 3 days, and it seems to be the case thus far. And I personally thought that we might see a major milestone, and I, for one, am glad that Dean Elgar got his 100, and I was expecting him to go all the way to possibly get another monkey off his back, which is should have been his inaugural double 100. But tremendous fight from the Fernandos, unrelated, of course. They bowled exceptionally well. They bowled the right lines. I have to say, though, I know that Rassie van der Dussen got a lot of flack for a very slow innings, but traditionally, that's what a test innings is supposed to be like. I think the problem is we've been so accustomed to watching David Warner and these guys go at 4 or 5 runs and over, that we're expecting all test batsmen to do the same thing. And the reality is that that's not his vibe. That's not how he plays. If you want to see a great Rassie van der Dussen innings, you're going to have to sit and wait, and like you should for a test match traditionally. But overall, on that note, my only criticism on Rassie was that his only rash shot that he's played throughout that innings resulted in his dismissal. And that, I would have to say, is the turning point for South Africa. Because I feel, back of my mind, I feel that had he not done that, chances are we might have seen another centurion. We might have even seen South Africa possibly finish off the day batting. But again, this is cricket. It's not a binary situation. There are many variables at play. Anything could possibly happen. But kudos to Sri Lanka for showing some fight, showing some gusto. We wanted to see that, especially considering the many injuries they suffered the last couple weeks, or last week or two. You've got vital players just leaving the field. It is worrying, but it's encouraging to see the guys actually respond in the best way possible, and that's going back to the skill set and bringing out the results. I for one, objectively speaking, I would love to see a Karunatne 100. Sorry for the mispronunciation there, but I would love to see a test 100 from him, because I think the proudly South African way is to see the underdog persevere as well. I want to see a captain's knock. I want to see a captain's 100, and I want to see somebody with their backs to the wall responding in the best way possible, and that's with the bat.
I mean, Karunaratne is one of the guys that I said would have been one of the picked out players, obviously, of this particular match. I'm actually happy for the sake of the contest that he's put on a performance now. Batting as a captain, pushing on, because I want to see the other guys that haven't performed perform. I hope they put on enough runs so that we can see a full batting lineup bat. I would like to obviously see Aiden Markram try and get a century. I would like to see our batsmen, our top 6, get put into a situation where they have to actually put on a proper chase to win this match. I don't want to see a situation where we just have like a couple of 100 runs or 150 runs to chase. I would like to see a proper chase over here and see what our batting lineup is capable of, because then we can go into maybe changing and tweaking for Pakistan or etc. Because people are going to start talking about tweaking already. I think Test cricket is not a type of contest where you can just tweak and change your batsman. If we wanted to go with a team that is experimental or young, We should have decided that that's the style of cricket we're going to play, commit to that over a long period of time, and then commit to a young team now already, and then build them for the future. Then go through these torrid times or hard times or difficult times with these youngsters so that they can learn. Because I'm of the belief that a 20-year-old can learn more than a 30-year-old going out exactly the same way. I feel that if Vian Mulder going out fishing for a ball and Rassi going out fishing for a ball, Vian will learn more from that experience than Rassi, in my personal opinion. So when I'm looking at it right now, South Africa has not decided to do that. They've decided that they want to go with continue picking teams that can win immediately. And that's the mindset that they're going to play with. And that's the mindset that Barge is going to have. Then that is how it is. And I think that's because of the contract that he signed. Obviously, they don't sign contracts 6 years, 5 years. I think that might be a smart way of taking South Africa forward in this period, is actually giving a coach a 5-year contract, trusting him for that 5 years, telling him, look, rebuild this team, go ahead, pick the best youngsters that you can find, let's build a team and build character, so that by the time they hit like 2 years time, then they'll be informed. Because 2 years playing a full test championship and fighting for that and trying to that's the only way you can learn, is in the middle. I mean, you're not going to learn any other way. You can play as much domestic games as you want to. You can see when Tianus the Brain plays domestic cricket, he bullies people. Aiden Markham goes back, he bullies teams. He completely dominates, and he still will be under a lot of pressure, because when you come to international cricket, you don't have one player in a team that is amazing and that can bowl accurately. You have 3 or 4. Look at when we played against England. When Zubair Hamza goes out to the middle now, he's not only facing one bowler that can bowl 145, 150. He's facing 3 bowlers that can bowl like that. And not only bowl 140, 155, and bowl accurately as well, putting it on the spot. It's constant pressure from both ends that you don't face in South African, in domestic cricket. I don't even think that you face that necessarily maybe in county cricket. I think that you will face more quality bowlers in county cricket because of the the signings, etc. But it won't be the same as international level. It's just the reality of life. So the only way they learn is in the middle. I want you to this weigh on that, Aaron. Do you think maybe that the Sri Lanka have enough to be able to put on a target that South Africa can actually chase down?
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because we've already seen a massive twist in this game already. Anything can happen. It's Test match cricket. That is the beauty of it. And everything's just gone at a massive flash. It's gone 100 million miles an hour so far, this game. If Sri Lanka do decide to dig in, anything's possible. It's as simple as that. If Karuna Ratner can go on to get 100, 150, a big score, really lay the foundation for the Lions in this innings, then yes, South Africa could have a big chase on their hands. The only issue that I have with that is the Sri Lankan style of play is very much 100 miles an hour. It's a play style that doesn't really, allocate for patient batting. It's one which is very much counter-attacking and very much on the front foot. And we're going to see that when Hasaranga comes in as well. So it's an interesting one. For me, I still think South Africa are definite favourites for this. I don't see them chasing anything over 200. I'm just going to say that and put that out there right now. But that being said, I would like Sri Lanka to put at least something substantial on the board, because as you said, the likes of Markram, maybe Van der Dusen gets some more runs. A guy like Quinton de Kock, who's only scored 28 runs so far in this series. Yeah. It'd be nice to see these guys getting time out in the middle, actually scoring runs for a guy like Quinton de Kock, who's batting in not necessarily an alien position, but one that he hasn't really secured so far in a Proteas jersey. So yes, to answer your question, Khalid, I think they'll put up together something maybe around the 100, 150 mark, but I still think South Africa are going to come out victorious in this contest.
Very surprised that Keshav Maharaj hasn't been trusted yet. Is he good enough of a batsman to be picked just for that alone and not bowl? I think that's kind of a bit of a waste, don't you think, Ravi?
Sorry, this mute button is quite elusive. Yeah, definitely. In fact, I was hoping you would get at least 3 overs to have a ball that Karuna not there. Again, sorry for the mispronunciation of the full man's name, but I would have liked to have seen a couple overs of something, largely because we know the sun sets earlier in Johannesburg, and just to get as much play on the field as possible to try and get a wicket. At one point, Diguela looked a bit shaky. Because I think he also got a bit of a monkey on his back as well. He needs to get some runs. He hasn't really come to the party in the series. So I think that by throwing in some spin, I suggested they have Maharaj and Mulder bowling in tandem, just to take the batsman off their pedestal a little bit there. I think part of the problem, I think this is the concern that they had. Mickey Arthur, and rightfully so, asked for the heavy roll. I don't know if you guys saw that. So
yep.
They asked for the heavy roller. They came on, they flattened the wicket, and obviously helped them significantly. And I think they were concerned that by giving Kesh of the ball, because they just instinctively felt that maybe they wouldn't see much purchase from the wicket at that point in time. In saying that, though, I would have loved it in the last hour or so for him to get at least 3, maybe 4 of this. Just have a go, see how it goes, and force an uncharacteristic shot or 2. And you might have seen Sri Lanka sitting at 5, maybe 6 wickets down by the close of play today. To answer that other question that you posed, Aaron, if we might see some resistance from Sri Lankans. Look, after Karuna Ratne, I don't think there is anybody else that can offer any sort of resistance. Diguela on a good day, perhaps. But other than that, I don't see a fight. I'd see their tail going quite quickly. That's just my view on it. But let's see. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, Aaron obviously disagrees.
Yes, for one particular batsman in that sale. And who knows? You never know.
You love this guy. How many memes do you have of him on your phone?
Well, too many to count. Probably as many runs he scored in this series, to be honest. Too many to count. But at the same time, they still...
I'm sure you have a Hasaranga underpants. I'm guaranteed.
One day, once TCC.com launches. Yeah, then...
Hasaranga's going to bat at 3 against England. He might score 100.
Oh, that's the problem. Conflict of interests in the next series. Oh, I don't know. It might be an interesting one.
I don't know if you saw the commanding on drives that Hasaranga was playing today. I mean, he really looked there. He has got the makings of a number 4 or number 5. He was, you take it through the covers. I mean, this guy, he's got the makings of being a sublime batsman. In fact, there was a lot of talk about Kusal Perera being a right-hander initially in the beginning of his career, then he switched over being a left. Similarly, you had Sanath Jayasuriya who actually entered the team as a bowler, and then they figured out that this guy could actually bat a bit as well. So I have a feeling that you might see Hasaranga become one of the most explosive batsmen.
Interesting point of view there. But guys,
because we're being at home at the moment.
Yeah, it probably is. But guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Thank you, Reginald, for the comment. Happy New Year to you too. I see there's a comment here from Werner Erasmus saying, good to see fight back by Sri Lanka. Pakistan will be tough to beat in their conditions. So it is good to see a contest, rather Sri Lanka just rolling over. Some good preparation is welcome. And I think this is a good preparation for Sri Lanka against England. I think it's going to be quite an interesting contest. I hope that Sri Lanka can stand up, and I hope that Sri Lanka gets all their players back, that there can be a proper contest, because I would like to see some good test cricket over there. We got a comment over here saying 2 misjudgments in 2 innings for Bavuma. Yes, I think that there was some concerns over there, I feel. But I mean, I think a lot of the South African batsmen played at balls today that they should have left. It was one of those situations. I think it was a little bit of a lapse. I don't understand why they couldn't just learn from Dean Elgar, the way Dean Elgar played on this wicket throughout the 2 days. I think he batted until his wicket, of course, and learned from his dismissal and not play at that balls that are out in that line, because a lot of the balls weren't even close to hitting the stump. So they left them, it would have left. They could have missed completely. You could have leave more is what we need to do. And that's something about in test cricket that you need to learn. It will come with experience, I guess, because a lot of our top 6 don't really have much experience besides Faf Kwani and Dean Elgar. But anyway, thanks a lot to everybody for tuning in. Thanks a lot for supporting us, guys. Thanks to all the patrons that are supporting us. If you want to become a patron, please click on the link in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Click that notification bell for all future videos. Share this with everybody. Like this video, please, because we can get it into more people's feeds on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe to the magazine and click the link on the description as well as on the screen. If you want to go for updates, click fanaticsmac.com for all of your updates. And if you have a business and you're looking to make sales online, even if your business is offline, we have a free tutorial on this channel, and there's a link in the description. Thanks a lot for all the support. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow with another review video. Take care, everyone.